Welcome to the ChargePoint podcast, brought to you by Flexecharge, your gateway to the future of EV charging. In each episode, we dive deep into the world of EV infrastructure, offering insights and perspectives from industry leaders, innovators, and the people at the forefront of deploying charging solutions and networks. Join us to explore the exciting developments that are accelerating our world towards sustainable mobility.
Welcome to the episode 13 of the ChargePoint podcast. My name is Christoph and I'm from Flexecharge. We're kicking off this new year with an episode that dives deep into the heart of the EV charging ecosystem, featuring none other than Max Brandt, CEO and co-founder of Flexecharge. After 12 episodes dedicated to external guests, I thought that it was about time to have one of our founders in the hot seat. As the EV market matures, charge point operators are under increasing pressure to stay ahead, balancing innovation, cost efficiency, and driver satisfaction. In today's conversation, Max will walk us through the journey of Flexecharge, a company redefining how we think about load management, grid optimization, and market positioning. Here is what you can look forward to in this episode. Max's entrepreneurial journey, how he and his team at Flexecharge pivoted to meet the evolving needs of charge point operators. The challenges of navigating a fragmented and rapidly growing market. Will dig into how regulations, grid constraints, and fast charging technology shape Flexecharge's strategy. Their latest innovation, an OCPP-based broker, why now, and how does it fit into their broader product portfolio? The critical role of flexibility in EV charging. Max will share his insights on why smart energy management is no longer optional and how we can unlock new revenue streams for CPOs. And finally, his advice for founders in the energy space who are looking to raise capital and build sustainable businesses in 25 and beyond. This is a can't-miss conversation for anyone in the EV charging ecosystem, whether you are an operator, innovator, or investor. Let's get started. Welcome to today's episode of the ChargePoint podcast. And today I have a very special guest in the hot chair. It's Max Brandt, CEO and co-founder of Flexecharge. Welcome, Max. So, Max, being a co-founder is a daunting task, and yet it's not the first time you're in this situation, despite your relatively young age, some would say. Can you please share your journey and, so to speak, your origin story that brought you where you are today?
Yes, first of all, thanks a lot for having me today, Chris. I'm 29 years old, so still relatively young, but Flexecharge is my second founder experience, so to say. After finishing school, I went to Braunschweig, studied there industrial engineering, field mechanical engineering, always with ambition to, at the end up in the automotive industry at an OEM. So that was kind of my ambition, but I already had a bit of entrepreneurial spirit in me, I would say. And I met some colleagues in my study program that started an exciting idea, I thought, was in the consumer space. So we essentially brought a beverage into supermarkets that haven't been existing in supermarkets at that point in time. And I thought it was a great opportunity to learn how to found a company, how to grow a business from, as with beverages, it's relatively easy. You produce a small batch, sell it, and then you increase the batch size every time you do it. And it's a relatively risk-free, but potentially also high reward opportunity to learn. And that is what I took. We also got some funding connected to a Jägermeister, which sits in that region. So I also learned from really experienced people in that industry. But all in all, at some point, the challenge was not there as much as I wanted it to be. And also for me, the sustainability aspect was a little bit missing in it. So after then having had an internship at a German car OEM, I figured, okay, I actually need to leave Germany. I need to go to a place where digitalization is at the forefront. as we are unfortunately behind in Germany. So I decided to go to Copenhagen. Started studying here at Copenhagen Business School, business and IT. So again, a technical and a commercial study program, this time more focused on the commercial side, and then specialized in industrial IoT and platform ecosystems. So my master's thesis was then about make and buy decisions for industrial IoT platforms. So quite relevant for what we are doing today with charging. And around that time, I got to know my co-founders and started off as Flexecharge as a product manager from the start. So figuring out a go-to-market strategy, that was what I was there for. And then moving on over the role of the COO during the first funding, and then in the second funding towards more being the CEO and leading the company today.
How did the conversation come up between you and the founders that you showed that you had the skills and the grit to become CEO?
Yeah, I think what we really have in our founder team and what probably also sets us apart is that we always think, okay, what is the best for the company? What is the best positioning, and which plays into each other's strengths? And with my two co-founder, Jan Köster on the commercial side, Robert Brehm on the technical side, we have two poles in the company essentially, and I have been the connecting link in between more or less from the start. Understanding both technical aspects, but also having always the customer in mind. So it was just naturally to put it up this way, and also from a practical standpoint, essentially in these fundraising times, which are really pressing for a startup. We also need to make sure that we still win customers and our existing customers stay happy. So the whole operational side of the business needs to continue. And in this setup, we found the perfect way of me focusing essentially in these periods on fundraising, and the other two on the operational side. And we have each other's back there.
Makes sense. Absolutely. Great. Okay. I think at the end, I might want to ask you a question about, I think I like also that there's a bit of entrepreneurship in our program, but maybe do you have some advices for, companies that want to raise money in the energy space? I think we can come as maybe as the last one. Okay, great. Thanks for that origin story. Very particular and unusual and impressive. So as a CEO, you're expected to set the vision for the company, of course, right? And of course, in close collaboration with the co-founders, but you are in the driving seat. So how has this vision of Flexecharge evolved from the time you joined the company on the product side to today?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, because on one side, the vision that we're still following is still there. I mean, especially also when we look at our mission, connecting electric vehicle charging with the grid has been there from the start. That's why we also call it Flexecharge, like having flexibility also in mind from the start. However, how we bring the vision into the market, that has completely changed. I mean, when I joined the company, the idea was to sell charging controllers to charging station manufacturers. And what that play, which is potentially also a good play. I mean, there's a lot of companies in the industry doing that today. We asked ourselves, okay, where does the problem actually sit in the value chain? Does it sit with the charging station manufacturers, or does it not actually sit with the charge point operators? And that logical discussion essentially that, okay, we need to have a vendor-independent approach of bringing our grid integration software into the market, our load balancing essentially, rather than having a proprietary approach. And then we end up with an open platform. So I think the way we deliver our solution has changed significantly. The vision has become bigger as the problem has become bigger. Now we are already active across Europe. I just recently was in the US. They have the same type of issues. So we have a global ambition to bring our solution into the market. And with the product lineup, which really got a lot elevated this year, and I think is now complete with our 3 distinctive product verticals, connect, optimize, and aggregate. We have closed the loop both on the bottom side with connect, making that the entry into our product world, and opening that up. And on the other side with aggregate, not only having a vision, but actually showing that the vision is possible today by providing flexibility or building virtual power plants for CPOs, which is not just something we talk about or dream about, but something we're actually doing.
Great. Very clear. Thanks for that. So Flexicharge announced the introduction of its OCPP-based... So Flexicharge announced the introduction of its OCPP-based broker a few weeks ago, and is now presenting this streamlined, clear product offering, as you mentioned. So can you take us back, please, to how the product offering has evolved since you stepped in, a bit more in detail, and how you came to the decision that Connect, i.e. the broker, should be introduced?
Yeah, I think one of the key elements I introduced to the company when joining Flexicharge was we need to listen to our customers from the very start of defining products. And with Connect, so our charge and energy data broker, we use that in the start, just the technology for ourselves, making it possible for us to integrate with any charging stations and any charge point management system. So making us independent on the other actors in the market and having our own path to the market. So that was very critical in the beginning. And then in the second step, we listened to our customers this year, and we are fortunate enough to work now with leading charge point operators that essentially express the need of a really standalone OCPP broker. And since we had that technology already in use, it didn't take much to really productize it. So it essentially was now more a commercial effort on defining the product and its values as a standalone solution, rather than it was a technical challenge, as the technology essentially is 3 years in development already. And that also creates a lot of trust in the market. So we have not started today to build it. We have deep knowledge about coming also from the charging controller side. Like, we really know how charging stations work. We know about the protocols between the charger and the vehicle, as well as the charger and the backend. And that deep technical expertise we can play in. And then we were also just looking into the market, seeing, of course, we're not the first to offer an OCPP broker. The concept has been there for a long time. But so far, from our point of view, it has not really been successfully rolled out. So there's also still an opening in the market. And that's an opportunity we like to take.
Great. Let's dig a little deeper. So would you say that it's better timing now than a year ago to push an OCPP broker? As you say, sometimes we're not the first one, but maybe we're doing it at the right time with the right outset, right? So how is the time? Is the time ripe for OCPP broker and this path that we are? That is the time right for pushing an OCPP broker as you're doing it?
We believe yes, and for one distinctive reason, and that is that we see now more and more specialization on the software side of charging. We have started off as an industry as a whole with the need of having reliable hardware, providing charging stations, right? Second need really in the industry was everything with regards to authorization, billing, invoicing of the entire payment flow of charging. So that were the first two big waves in charging. And now we get to a point where some charge point operators, they have a size of the asset base that they have under management, and experience from 5 or 10 years in the market, that they are saying, okay, I want to be able to pick the specialized solutions which are ideal for my operating profile. So that means we see the emergence of specialized players in the maintenance space, so predictive maintenance solutions. We see specialized players on the EMSP side. So not always now the CPMS provider also is the EMSP provider for a CPO. And we also see the interest of CPOs of building their own value-adding services. So I think we have a level of market maturity now, which makes this OS approach on a platform level, so really providing more or less a foundational platform which acts essentially as an operating system, something that is in high demand from CPOs. And we also see some CPOs which are unfortunately got a little bit stuck in their existing with their existing vendor landscape, let's say it that way, and now would like to upgrade, update the entire stack, and then a broker can be a great first step of just taking a foundational platform in and building then on top of it. I mean, we're not replacing a CPMS, but we are giving the possibility to select the best CPMS very easily. And I think that's something we see now in the market, and that has not been that strong there a year ago or 2 years ago, but it's growing. I think it was I'm talking, of course, also our book here, but when we were at the Intercharge Network Conference this year in Berlin, nearly everyone I spoke to said, okay, this is the trend in the industry now, specialization. Be good, be the best in what you're doing. And our claim then is, okay, combine the best services from the best vendors in your tech stack.
Very clear. Thank you for that. Absolutely. Let's talk briefly. Now let's extend the discussion to those specialized vendors. So can you explain with your terms, if for those specialized services that might be listening here out there, what's the advantage of making themselves compatible with a broker? Or can you explain a bit what they would go through and what the benefit would be for them?
Yes, I mean, ultimately our strategy is really that we have an open approach in that sense that we like to partner with other companies that can really bring a value add to CPOs. So for each specialized vendor out there that says, okay, I have a solution that is in need by CPOs. I have a good understanding of my value add, but I currently have the challenge of bringing my service to the CPO because an existing gatekeeper doesn't let me in, because also maybe it's too complicated for some CPOs to build the API backend themselves. To those vendors, we offer now out-of-the-box ready integrated solution. So essentially what we did in the beginning, building our own broker in order to bring our service, the load and energy management, into the CPO. That work doesn't need to be redone by others. We basically open our path to them. And that's, I think, a win-win situation, because the more services we have on our broker, the more value we can show to the CPO. So for the CPO, it's great. For us, it's great, and for our partners, it's great as well because they can integrate with it. And we started with a program now and are actively looking for partners. One thing that is important is that we have a good overlap when it comes to which customers do we approach. We have certainly our criteria of who we want to work with, which is essentially really professional charge point operators. And if there's a good match, it's a good overlap of the potential customer base, then we should start a discussion. And the integration is supported from our side. We invest in these partnerships as well. We offer anyone a head start that wants to join our ecosystem. And the vision is ultimately having the broker really as a standalone open platform that provides maximum value.
So let's go back to the third pillar, aggregate, in the portfolio. I know you've been digging into this very complex, rich, fascinating topic for some time now. I would say years. Could you please walk us through the process that you've been through, spotting the opportunity, seeing it grow, understanding its importance, enlighten us on the importance of flexibility within EV charging?
Yeah, as said, also we have been seeing this opportunity more or less from the start that scaled e-mobility will only be possible when we also use the flexibility. So essentially making charging an asset for the energy transition instead of making it another burden. Now, the question has always been, okay, how do we access that flexibility? Because obviously the charging demand has priority. So if I need to charge my car, I want it also to be charged. So it was about figuring out a product to start with to provide flexibility, which has not the highest impact on the EV driver, or in the best case, a minimal impact, so that we can actually provide also flexibility with public charging infrastructure. And that is what we started with. In essence, the idea here is if you have 1,000 parallel charging sessions, when you then increase or decrease the charging speed per individual session by 1 or 2 kilowatt, then you have suddenly megawatt of flexibility that you can make available for grid operators, and which can be lucrative for CPOs. And then we have been fortunate enough to find a really great customer, which we could use to co-develop the solution with. So again, also one of the recurrent themes that we always try to have, that we have a customer in it right from the start that explains us really their needs. And so that has been how the opportunity has been forming. Now we look into different things next to public charging. We also look at the depot case, which we think is really interesting because we have even longer charging times, also overnight charging, also charging over weekends. So we can, instead of just providing ancillary services, so we can also move loads essentially into times where we have more renewable production. And the third pillar is that, of course, co-located battery storage is a great way of utilizing more flexibility. So what we are seeing now is that charge point operators are looking into the business case, connecting, co-locating battery storage next to the charging infrastructure, and for the megawatt charging, which is now coming up, even also co-locating production assets, so solar primarily next to it, and then sharing the same grid connection with all three elements, charging, battery, and production. And that's a very exciting opportunity because it also plays into the decentralization aspect of this whole energy transition. And I think there is plenty of opportunity there, and we just crossed the start line as an industry in that, I think. And now it's about making more and more assets flexible and charging with all the capacity that is installed. I mean, if you look into the numbers, what charging capacity globally will be installed is crazy. And we need to use that capacity to stabilize our grids. And so I think we both have a duty and an opportunity. And I think we are very well positioned in order to create really great solutions together with our customers.
Yeah, absolutely. This idea of co-location reminds me of the episode 7 with Shoshana Pato from RAP, who was advocating for, again, the grid. If you want to sustain the grid, and we can't upgrade it faster than we can physically. So it's about thinking smartly of sharing grid connections between big consumers and big producers. Yeah, very interesting. So you've been busy funding last year or raising funding last year, and you've been raising money also with your previous experience. And yeah, again, as CEO, you are in charge of this very important part of the business. So in those how are the times? How is the zeitgeist for raising money for energy companies? Can you share a bit of some of your thoughts on this?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think it has gotten better. We see an upward trend again. Last year was difficult. I mean, we were really lucky, I think, that we got our seed round through towards the end of last year, but not that many companies succeeded with that. This year, the environment is better. Obviously, it's important that you speak to the right investors in terms of stage where you're in, but also in terms of what does the investor have in understanding for your solution. So we are really focusing on investors that have deep expertise in everything from energy, mobility, and climate. I think that's the 3 pillars where we look into, and then figuring out the funds that are relevant for the right stage. So I think that's important, and then you need to do the work. You need to take the meetings, and what I also said in the beginning was with the setup that we have in a founder team. It's important that your business continues to run, that you show good traction while you're in conversation with the investors, so that every month you can give an update and say, like, look, this month we won this company, this customer, we grew by X, and so on, while you are talking to investors. And that's only possible if you have one in your team that really focusing on the investment and shields essentially the rest of the organization. At least that's our approach or my approach to it. So I'm that person taking all the investment calls and trying to shield the rest of the organization. Now with a bigger team, I also have a bit of help, of course. I have my back office also helping me with the preparation of material. But I think ultimately being well prepared helps, and then just doing the work, having all these calls every week, no matter whether you're fundraising or not, just also establishing the connection, because the more established connections you have, then when you're then actually fundraising, you basically have maybe 40 or 50 funds you can directly reach out to and say, like, now we're here, and this is our deck, this is our data room, making it really easy for them to look into the opportunity. I think that's important, and especially on the energy side, there is a lot of opportunity right now. There's a lot of capital that wants to be deployed, and the opportunity needs to be right, and then there's for sure the possibility to receive funding.
Great. So it's not all dark, but you have to know. It's a bit almost like sales, right? You have to know your ICPs here, either customer profiles or the right funds, as you said. Thanks for those advice. I hope people are taking notes if you are a founder in the energy or mobility space. I think that wraps up the conversation for today. So thank you very much, Max, for taking time to sit in the hot chair of the ChargePoint podcast today. And have a great day and see you around.
Yes, thanks a lot for having me, Chris. It's great with your podcast. I really like the project, and I also want to emphasize that it really runs independently of what we're else doing at Flexecharge. So this is also an open platform which we are creating for energy specialists. And yeah, thanks a lot for your vision on that. And I look forward to the next episode when there's again someone not from the inside, but actually from the outside.
Thank you. Bye for now. What an inspiring and insightful conversation. Today we explored how Flexecharge is paving the way for the future of EV charging. Max shared how his entrepreneurial journey, starting with a beverage business in his student days and evolving into a global player in EV space, shaped his approach to innovation and problem solving. His unique blend of technical expertise and customer focus has been pivotal in leading Flexecharge to where the company is today, no doubt. One of the standout takeaways was Flexecharge's emphasis on turning EV charging into a flexible grid asset. It was really interesting to hear Max explain how adjusting charging speeds across thousands of sessions on public charging hubs can unlock megawatts of flexibility for grid operators while minimizing the impact on EV drivers, a game-changing approach for ChargePoint operators. We also delved into the exciting potential of co-locating batteries and solar panels with charging infrastructure. This strategy not only addresses grid challenges, but also creates decentralized, sustainable energy hubs. I'm sure we will see many such projects in the coming years. Max also walked us through the development of the OCPP-based broker, a solution that empowers CPOs to integrate the best technologies while maintaining flexibility. With this broker, it looks like Flexecharge has tackled one of the industry's biggest pain points, making specialized services accessible without cumbersome technical integrations. This platform sounds like a game changer for CPOs looking to stay ahead in an increasingly competitive market. If you're curious to hear more about this topic, you should check out the series of masterclasses with our CTO, Robert Brame. Finally, I found Max's advice for those looking for funding quite interesting. He highlighted the importance of identifying the right investors, those with expertise in energy, mobility, and climate, and maintaining constant traction by demonstrating wins and growth during fundraising. His insights into balancing operational focus with investor engagement are lessons every entrepreneur can take to heart. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you found this episode as engaging and informative as the first 12 episodes. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share with your network. This means a lot to me. As always, if you have any suggestions for future guests from the EV charging or energy sectors, feel free to drop us an email at hello@flexicharge.com. Until our next episode, take care and drive safely.